Wanderers FC won 5 FA Cups in 7 years in the 1870s. Despite that, they never played in the Football League, a team that disbanded over 100 years ago, reborn in Football Manager. We are here in the National League. That's not half the challenge, though, because whilst we will be starting in the depths of lower league English football, this challenge is not limited to how low we start, but also the fact that we can only sign English players. In this save game, we're going to try and take this team to the top. Goal number 1, win an FA Cup. Repeat history. If we could win it 3 times in a row, that would be really nice. Goal number 2, win the Premier League. Yeah, look, granted, this one is going to be much more difficult given the fact that we can only sign English players, but we're going to give it a bloody good go. And of course, the final ultimate aim for this save game, maybe win a Champions League. If we can do this before Football Manager 2025, I'd be kind of surprised. Our football team has been reborn and a new Football Manager adventure awaits us. Welcome to episode 1 of Parks of Prem, English only edition. Let's run the intro and get straight into things. A warm welcome back to the channel if you're a returning viewer. If you're a new viewer, welcome to the channel. I am Jack, also known as Work the Space, and we play Football Manager here. And of course, we've got quite the adventure going on here at Wanderers FC, starting in the National League, where in year 1, the aim is a top half finish and to reach the FA Cup proper. Yeah, it's a slightly lower expectation than the ultimate aims for this series. To start this season, we have a pre-season prediction of 18th place, which does mean if I do want to make things happen here, I'm probably going to need to strengthen this first team. Speaking of which, it's a little bit bare bones. The team I'm starting with is made up of players that were released at the end of the 2024 season in real life. We are using a database update that moves us forward to the 2024-25 season. Our star man is ultimately Finlay Thorndyke, who I like Thorndyke here. Bit annoying. I didn't really plan on playing with a centre attacking mid. Elsewhere in the team, Callum Hume looks like one of our best players, 23 years old. If I showed you his polygon and his attributes, you probably wouldn't think, he's a right wing back and defensive midfielder. That said, I think it might open up the opportunity to play my favourite role with this player who once upon a time played for Man City. He's probably going to play as a regista. And in terms of the best young player at the team, it's Gabriel Overton here, 18 years old, released by Peterborough in real life. We have snapped him up ahead of the start of the season. He's very, very quick. He could be good. He's very, very injury prone. And naturally, given the fact that this team is made up of misfits that were released at the end of last season in real life and haven't found clubs, there's a lot of injury-prone players here. Josh Harrop, once upon a time, was a wonder kid in Football Manager back in, I think, FM13 when he was playing for Manchester United. Obviously, in real life, his career's not quite lived up to that. Injuries have been an issue. He's not injured to start things here. Really need him to stay fit. And in terms of other experienced players at this club, we have Liam Trotter. So for the few Millwall fans watching, I've got your boy in. I say he's kind of a Millwall boy, right? He played in the Championship a lot. Fair enough, last few years. Not played in the Championship. He's a backup. It'll be fine. Worth noting, a lot of these players have only got 1-year deals, but naturally that's par for the course here, this low down the Football League. And in terms of the finances at the club, we've got a healthy balance as a newly formed club. That said, the transfer budget and wage budget, not exactly massive. I feel like I'm going to be trying to spend all of this and then some to add some depth. Our team is based out of Leytonstone in North London. We currently ground share with Leyton Orient. We have to pay them 10% of our rent, so we don't get all the season ticket money and ticket money that we earn here. Saying all of that, our facilities are in a good spot. Hopefully we're going to pick up some good young players for our youth intakes. I feel like that's going to be somewhat essential, given the fact we can't sign foreign players. Some of you may have spotted this in my series intro video we did yesterday, but for players like Mbappe who aren't English and any non-English player, if I try and make a bid, Football Manager literally isn't going to let me. Now, first things first, I'm going to go away and work out what formation we're going to play, probably try and sign a few players. Our first league game is 1 month away. It's against Braintree. Probably not going to be the most simple. I say that. Their media prediction is 21st. We really should be winning against this newly promoted team. I'll see you in a month. Hopefully the team's a little bit better. If it's worse, that would be a problem, wouldn't it? Okay, 1 month for Football Manager later, and I probably should say before we go any further, if you're a new viewer here, Episodes drop daily, so be subscribed, leave a like if you're excited for the series as well, of course. If we could hit 2,000, that'd be massive. Normally FM25 is coming out around this time of year. There's no Football Manager till March. So we need this series to pop off, and I hope you guys are excited for it. We've done lower league save games in the past. I've never done one with such strict transfer restrictions. I actually think the most challenging part of this save game is going to be once we reach the Premier League. That said, the National League, with its one automatic spot and 16 playoff, never that simple. Now, I know what you're thinking, Jack. Did you spend the money? I've spent more money than I was meant to. There is no transfer budget left. We are over the wage budget by £500. I was hoping I could rejig some of the scouting budget. The game won't let me. So, not ideal. No one wants to leave the club either. So, let's just hope the board don't mind me overspending. So, when I first came into the team, I looked at the squad and decided a three at the back was probably going to be necessary. We had some good depth there, and the wide attacking mids, depth didn't exist. I thought, it'll be fine. We'll sign some wide players. I'll be honest, with the exception of Sellars, who we've picked up as a left winger, there isn't actually any good wide players at the club. So you'll note here, I'm having to play asymmetric. If you hate asymmetric, I'm really sorry. Now, in terms of Sellars, who I signed, I paid £1,000 a week for him. For a player who has no important matches, is inconsistent, is very one-footed and won't improve, you might have some question marks. Look, this guy has pedigree. He's played for... Well, he's played in League 2. He's played in the top division of Sweden. In real life, I think he's actually quit football. But in this universe, he's going to be big for us. And if you're thinking, Jack, but you have Josh Harrop. He's a good wide player. Look at the pace. Look at the acceleration. I know we're in the National League. It ain't it. That's all I'm getting. It's not it. Now, with me committing to playing a free centre-back with wing-back formation, I did need to bring in a bit more depth in the defensive area. Two loanees we've picked up. Morgan Williams the first. He's also on £1,000 a week. He will be starting often for us. He actually looks like a really, really good player. And look, I'll hold up my hands. I might have overpaid for the last two players I've shown you. This guy, though, Jake Leake from Hull, I think is going to be good. Of course, Hull play in kind of a black and amber colour. So he's going to feel perfectly at home here at Wanderers. The 21-year-old is a depth left wing-back option. I don't necessarily love the idea of playing a three at the back, but it's kind of needs must. Plus, Hume, who is going to be club captain, I had to play him at Register, and it just felt like this was the best way to make it happen. Now, in goal here at Wanderers, I did have a little bit of a dilemma of Joe Rose or Arlo Doherty. I say a dilemma. Look, you look at the polygons, Joe Rose looks way, way better. And to be fair, I think that probably is an accurate assessment. But according to my staff, Mr. Scott Bratt here, who potentially is clueless, he thinks that Arlo is better. I think Joe Rose is going to be the man for us, even if he is listed as the backup. He's on £1,200 a week. Arlo's on £400 a week. I feel that, you know what, this is a Ramsdale and Raya situation. I'm just going to let them scrap it out this year. We'll see who's better. Now, when it comes to our defence, every non-league team needs that one weapon from set pieces. That man for us is Bailey Spencer-Adams. He was playing for Leicester, released, as you can see here, at the end of the current football season. Before that, I'd played for Arsenal. We've actually got a few former Arsenal youngsters here. 23 years old, international player. Let me introduce you to the main appeal here. 14 jumping reach, 14 heading. The bloke is going to be a weapon. There are a few players playing out of position in this team. Dowling is one of them. Has no concept of defensive midfielder or centre attacking mid. Can play centre mid. I don't play with centre mids, but I think he could be a good Segundo Volante. Look, he ticks all the boxes for a Segundo Volante if we ignore the tackling, finishing and positioning boxes. Look, he could be a good player. I think for this level, he'll be fine once he learns to play defensive midfielder. So we'll just hope he picks it up quickly, I think. I already talked about Sellers. I talked about Thorndike in the intro. He was listed as our key player. I am actually currently training him to play out on the right-hand side of the team because I'll be honest, this asymmetric nonsense is annoying me as well. But ultimately, at least to start things, I'm just going to tuck him inside and play him in the middle. He's going to play as an attacking midfielder on attack with hold-up ball, stay wider, and then mark position, and it's set to mark the opposition left back. I'm hoping that'll kind of force him into some wider areas. With a Segundo Volante on the underlap and a wing back on the overlap, I do like the idea of him holding up the ball a little bit more. Similarly with Sellers, I've also got him set to hold up the ball and sit narrower. Basically, Sellers is going to be cutting in, Thorndike's going to be drifting wide, and I'm kind of going to hope it works. Longer term, I would like to go to 2 inside forwards. Any successful team needs good attackers. Our starting striker is Scottish, but he's got English heritage. John McGlynn. He's listed as our vice-captain. I picked him as our vice-captain. I make it sound like I had no choice. This guy here is one of our biggest earners. He scored 2 professional goals in 13 games. He played for Burnley's academy, has got around a little bit without playing a lot of football. I think he could be the man with a plan for us. If he isn't the man with a plan, I know what you're thinking. Are you screwed? No. I signed a backup striker in Charles Hagan here, who can play out on the right-hand side. I feel like he's your very typical Football Manager non-league striker with just good pace and okay finishing. We have got Overton, who I mentioned earlier is our best youth player. The more I look at this guy, the more I feel like he's not that good. But you know what? He's quick, and Football Manager pace is important, isn't it? I actually feel like this guy, I'm happy to report, get it, Happy, Pharrell Williams? It was Pharrell Williams who sang Happy, wasn't it? If it's not Pharrell Williams who sang the song Happy, edit this out, editing Jack. The 19-year-old can play a kind of bit of everywhere. I've never seen a player with so many kind of 9s, 10s and 11s for his attributes. He's just the most average footballer in the world with 5 determination. He doesn't look very happy to be here. Now, like I mentioned, in terms of the actual finances at the club, I'm definitely now spending beyond our means, which probably means I need to outperform the board's initial expectation for this year of a National League top half finish. Of course, an FA Cup run in these lower leagues can definitely help out the finances. Oh, and if you're wondering, given the club's facilities, I felt like we had to get in some good staff. So we've got David Jupp here, who's our head of youth development, formerly at Dagenham and Redbridge, 20 working with youngsters, 16 judging player potential and 14 judging player ability. He is an absolutely nuts head of youth development. I feel like he will be poached at some point, but at least for now we've got him on a 3-year deal. And I often feel like with save games like this, the assistant manager doesn't get enough love. I'm going to send him off to do all the press conferences and stuff. Welcome, Scott Bratt. I'll be honest, he just exists in Football Manager with no history whatsoever. He is a real person. Apparently we're giving him his first ever job. No idea who Scott Bratt is. If you know who Scott Bratt is, if you're a friend of Scott, let him know that he's an okay assistant manager. That's not why I've signed him, but he was the only man who wanted to join me as an assistant, which perhaps isn't the best reflection of our football team. Our media prediction, by the way, over pre-season has climbed up to a boisterous 15th. So it's climbed a little bit. The media think we're going to play a 4-4-2 Brexit ball. Presumably that's them just stereotyping based on the transfer policies we have here. No, look, we're going to play flamboyant, eccentric, sexy football with Regista and Segundo Volante in the National League, and no one can stop me. I say that, I mean, Braintree in our first game today, they could potentially stop us. They've got an international in their team, in Louis Ainsley. I mean, look, he's a Gibraltar international, albeit this man with 16 jumping reach could be quite scary. Their media prediction is 21st, though. Their finances are insecure. Really should be beating them. I've not actually used a 3 at the back system too much this year in Football Manager, never mind with kind of National League quality players. I feel like this save game with the FM25 delay is a fun chance to experiment and try and do some weird and wonderful stuff. With the team, I'm looking for the ball-playing defenders with the dribble more instruction on, which is a very good instruction, just to kind of wander into the wide areas. I'm looking at Kwamina here on 5 dribbling. Football Manager's match engine is a weird and wonderful thing. I'm sure it won't backfire one little bit. I mean, look, to be fair, Johnson on the other side, 10 dribbling. That is basically elite for this level. If you've got any thoughts on this tactical system, or maybe you've used some of the players that are in my squad, please let me know who you've had, how you've used them, what you would do. They're also playing a 5 at the back. If this ends 0-0, I'm so sorry. I always get people ask about my camera settings in-game. TV camera, lowest height, max zoom, key highlights, 2 notches up. We're ready to rumble. And if you're looking at the kits thinking, Jack, why do your players look like bumblebees? This is the kit the team wore in the 1870s. I mean, not literally. And I'll admit, the colours are based on black and white pictures. So we have to go off written records of the colours the team's played in. But it maybe looks something like this. Anyway, we've got a chance here early. Leak to Hume, whipped in back post. Robinson's there, the right back, and we've got a penalty. Was it a handball? I'm not even sure. Dowling steps up and scores. That was all very quick, wasn't it? Dowling is the guy playing Segundo Volante, who's now doing Irish dancing on the touch. What's he doing? Why is he doing Irish dancing in front of the empty away end? I mean, look, the 20 fans who have turned up, many of whom are wearing just white shirts today because we're running low on stock as a newly formed club. They're loving the dancing. 20 minutes played in this game. I'm not going to pretend it's been a classic, but we've had 58% of possession. We've, of course, had that penalty that we scored. Admittedly, it did kind of come from a throw-in highlight, but we look good here. Well, we could be on the attack. Again, Sellers dancing down the left-hand side, whips it in. Thorndike was lurking, cleared away. Dowling, he's got one. He goes down in a heap. Robinson squares it. McGlynn scores. It's 2-0. The ball was whipped across. Thorndike is never going to win the ball in the air. The Segundo Volante, who doesn't know how to do what he's doing, arrives. Robinson squares it, and McGlynn, the Scottishman playing in an English team, like he's English passport as well. I mean, it's a British passport, isn't it? That doesn't even work. His mum's English or something. We'll make up a backstory. Leak, corner, whipping it back post. The big man there, Spencer Addons, leapt, and I thought he was going to score immediately. It's cleared away, kind of, although Leak still has it. It's a flex against the post. What is happening here? 10 minutes left of this first half. We've created a lot. I feel like we probably should have scored another. Our XG is almost at 2. It is now at 2, curse of the commentator kicking in. Of course, this is Football Manager, so with them now having a corner, how can you not be a little bit nervous? The ball's whipped in. Jamal Fifield scores. That really ruins a great half. You'd think with 3 centre-backs on the pitch, we'd have like some good players in the air of our own. But to be honest, Spencer Addons is just the one good player in the air in our entire squad. Set pieces could be a problem this year. Half-time in this game, I mean, look, we're winning. I should be happy. I'm going to tell the players I'm glad. You know what? I'm going to give them a little bit of praise at half-time. I want the green, happy, smiley faces. Dowling is just sad at the bottom. But everyone else is kind of okay. We need, well, I was going to say a better second half. We can have more of the same as we hit the woodwork again. Is that twice now? Football Manager, eh? Clamping's bringing the ball forward for them. Little now on this near side. I mean, it's still only 2-1. It's a 1-goal game. We looked in complete control in the first half. Now I'm starting to panic. And also, why are Braintree suddenly playing like Barcelona? What is this? Through the middle it goes. Spencer Addons wins it. Thorndike nestling in the middle of the team, holding up the play and dancing with it. The mark of a footballer who knows what he's doing there. Robinson, I think he already has 1 assist. He is going to get another here. Jarell Sellers came from Sweden, arrived in London, scores to make it 3-1. The right wing-back here actually looked really, really good in Robinson. I think he's already got 1 assist. He's got another one here, and it was Sellers, the left-sided inside forward, getting across the box and tapping it in. One day we will have our own stadium, and we'll have the correct colour seats. The fact that we have to play at Leyton Orient Stadium and they have red seats, I don't know why, it just upsets me. It doesn't feel like home. Maybe it'll feel like home over time. As well, we've got the ball here. We're making it feel homely, to be fair, with the football we're playing. Dowling through the middle. Half an hour left. He shoots. And he shouldn't have. Right, you know what? Joshy Harrop, you're going to come on at centre attacking mid. And I know Dowling scored and he's looked quite good, but I want to give one player I've not yet mentioned a bit of a run out. We have here Jared Harlock. I signed him during pre-season. I signed him because he can just play in half the positions on the football pitch, like quite literally. In this game, he's going to come on to play as a defensive midfielder, but I do feel like in a league where you're limited to 5 subs announced and only 3 on off the bench, having a player like him who can just play everywhere is quite useful. So yeah, Harlock, he's like I'm trying to think of the most versatile footballer in the world. He's like the non-league Ashley Young. That really doesn't sound like a compliment, does it? Johnson, by the way, is on the right-hand side here, the wider centre-back. He's giving the ball away. He does have to get back in position now, does Johnson. There's a bit of a gap here where our right centre-back's gone walkies, but we have managed to win the ball back initially. Then again, Braintree are now going to launch your foot. Johnson, wake up. Johnson, wake up. They're through. They've scored. It's 3-2. I said it was going to be 0-0 at the start. That was a lie. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, and I talked about our defenders having no ability in the air. He's not even tried to jump in the air there. I can't even blame him on that. He's just watched the ball go over his head. Rose in goal has not looked good in this game. I say he's actually got a 7.2 rating. I'm looking for people to blame. I'm going to demand more from the players. I'm going to get shouty. Give them a taste of work the space medicine. I mean, to be fair, in this game, we've had an XG of over 3. We've been a very good team here. We could be on the attack again as well, because Harlock, who I've just brought on, gives it to Leak, and the man on loan from Hull, the left back. I've not brought him in to do that, and he has skied it. 10 minutes left. Robinson currently cemented, it feels like, for man of the match. He's been very, very good over there. In terms of the rest of the team, especially defensively, we've not been great, but you know what? I'm looking in the top left. Nothing's happening. It's a very unremarkable end to what feels like a remarkable game. We're going to win our opening game. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't that emphatic. I mean, we scored a few. Sammy Robinson, 2 assists. I love him already. I'll tell all the players it was good. You know, in a year's time, I wouldn't be praising that kind of performance where we scraped by, but that will do me for today. Look, we're in the playoff spots. We're bloody massive. We did actually have that day as a fan day. I didn't even realise it was a fan day. We had 3,400 fans turn up. I can tell you based on my testing of the save game, we'll be lucky to get half of that in a week's time. Of course, given the fact there are 7 spots in the National League that could lead to promotion, if we could get top 7, aim for the playoffs this year, I do feel like that would be quite a good aim. I do always feel like these first episodes of new series are a bit of a challenge to give you all the information that you need, introduce you to some other players, and kind of catch you up on what to expect with this one. But I hope you guys are excited by the prospect of this save game. Hopefully I'll see you the same place and time tomorrow, midday UK time, every weekday. Football Manager action here. The YouTube algorithm is a weird and wonderful thing, so if you made it to the end of the video, leave a like, leave a comment. It really does help things out. Of course, if you're new, subscribe, tell all your friends we're back. Next time out, more National League action. Who we're going to be playing, I'd come back tomorrow and find out. I have no idea right now.